What's going on, people? Welcome to United View and welcome to the big news. The big news. Let's just get straight into it. Cristiano Ronaldo's he hasn't terminated. It's mutual agreement. Cristiano Ronaldo has left Manchester United by mutual consent. He has gone from Manchester United. His second stint at the club is over. The debacle that happened with Piers Morgan when it was an all eyes speaking, tell all interview is all over. He's left the football club. Owen and KG were in the chat. Big up everyone in the chat as well. Owen, first of all, just read the statement so we can stick to the facts and then discuss. What have we got? What does it say?
Yes, so we've got a couple of statements here. So first of all, the first one from Manchester United. Manchester United have released the following, saying, quote, Cristiano Ronaldo is to leave Manchester United by mutual agreement with immediate effect. The club thank him for his immense contribution across 2 spells at Old Trafford, scoring 145 goals in 346 appearances, and wish him and his family well for the future. Everyone at Manchester United remains focused on continuing the team's progress under Erik ten Hag and working together to deliver success on the pitch. Now, Ronaldo has also released a statement, so it's not just come from the club, it's also come from the player, saying, following conversations with Manchester United, we have mutually agreed to end our contract early. I love Manchester United and I love the fans. That will never change, never ever change. However, it feels like the right time for me to seek a new challenge. I wish the team every success for the remainder of the season and for the future. So they are both saying, both Manchester United and Ronaldo, that it's a mutual agreement and they have mutually agreed to terminate his contract. Now, can I just say? Can I also just say? I think that I would say that this is a situation where I think every party has got what they wanted, right? I think every party has got what they wanted, and this was my thing when it comes back to the Piers Morgan interview. I feel like this is a situation whereby that's why he did the interview in the first place, was to facilitate this happening. And the key 100%. Thing from it now, that I question is this a mutual termination whereby he gets paid out the remainder of his contract, or is this a situation where Manchester United said, we'll just rip it up and Ronaldo's gone, no problem. That's what I wanted in the first place. KG, thoughts?
After I saw that, what's it, Louis Vuitton advert with him and Messi, yeah,
gone.
He doesn't need the money. He, like, whatever they said is like, nah. That could have just went in his, like, in the junk folder. He doesn't care. The money means nothing. What we're paying him is nothing to what he'll just get. Like, no,
he's got generational wealth. Pease is just not
generational wealth. He doesn't care. Like, what do you not want to do? Do you want to? Are you gonna let me out my contract easy? Are you gonna? You tell me, let's go. But I just want to leave this club. Again, sitting down with Piers Morgan was that I don't believe, though. I honestly don't believe that it's what all parties wanted. It should never have ended like this. This is a stain on the legacy. Like it or not, you can't leave like this. This is an embarrassment on all parties, everyone involved. The fact that it's ended like this is a disgrace. Again, this guy is a major player for us. This is a legend that's walking out on the second occasion. But this is a bad exit. No one can tell me, you can't turn this around and say, oh, it's beautiful how this ended. It's ended like shit.
No.
Excuse my language. Yeah. It's ended like garbage. This is crap, you know, and I'm happy it's done, but then I don't think this is how this relationship should have ended, considering how good it was the first time. But I'm happy it's over, just because now he can go and do his thing. If he wants to go play for Chelsea or whoever wants to play for, do his thing. And you know, all the if there's any Ronaldo fans that really are hurting and feel that they need to transfer as well, you know, be my guest. The door is over there. You can league with him. You know what I mean? Like, simple as that. If there's
100%,
I don't want to see us be successful, league with him. Put in a transfer request. I'm sure another club will accept you. Yeah, and it's just what it is.
This is exactly how it is. Ronaldo, Ronald the Rat, says, I feel mid-season was the best time for this, sayonara. That's how I see it, innit? At the end of the day, Ronaldo wanted this to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, he wanted to fast forward this situation and he wanted to leave no stone unturned. He wanted to make it unquestionable, untenable, unrecoverable. Like, the reason why he did it in this manner was so that Manchester United had no other option than to go, right, we can't have you at the club. It's how do we work this out with the lawyers in terms of, do we sue you? Do we pay you out? Or can we speak to you and come to the table? And you just, like KG said, don't care about the fees, so we can all just, excuse the pun. Do you know what I'm saying? So we can sue you, right? So here's the thing, right?
The real meaning of that word.
In doing this, right? I've always seen it as what he did was very clever from his point of view, because what he tried to do, in my opinion, was use the fact that all the things that are wrong with the club, which we already know, which he already knew when he came back, and add them into this thing of when he's leaving, so that actually, if you're one of the biggest Ronaldo supporters, which we all have been since whilst he's been our player over both stays, but even if you're backing him through doing this, you're going to go, yeah, but he's talking about the Glazers, you know, oh, like, you know, what, we're kicking him out of a club. We're kicking out a man who basically has standards. That's the narrative from like that side, who, in my opinion, are not seeing this for what it really is. For what this really is a player who's had enough of not being the man anymore. He's had enough of not starting games and them not basing a team around him. And okay, in the thing with Piers Morgan, which was just two mates, I'm not going to say what I thought that they were doing. It was just two mates basically rubbing each other's egos, stroking each other's egos. Yeah,
I'm wondering where you go with that,
right? Yeah, because I shouldn't really say what I was going to say. Yeah, what I really was going to say, but that's all that was. It wasn't an interview. I thought that was KG's dead.
And that's how I was on it as well, because it's usually me.
Exactly. So what it was two mates. And one mate in particular, Ronaldo, going to his other mate who's got a loud voice and platform saying, listen, bust me. I need to get out. You're going to drop this interview. These are the questions that we're going to talk about. These are the answers I'm going to give. When I'm in the questions, just drop in little, just let me go where I want to go with it, because this is all it. It's all written down. And then it's going to combust, and then I can get out. And from a Man United perspective, though, from a team perspective, this had to happen now. Like, because of what he did. It didn't have to happen in January, but you look at the walking away and all of that stuff. You look at, he said in 2 weeks, you're all going to find out the truth, but that got prolonged to now. This was always going to combust to this point, innit? And at the end of the day, David Beckham's left the club. Roy Keane's left the club. Eric Cantona, right, he retired. Ruud van Nistelrooy left the club. You know,
bro.
Paul Ince at the time was a big player for Man United. He left the club to the point where he even went Liverpool. We don't even really rate Ince like that, but he was a big player. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. We move on.
And also, as well, it must be said in the interview, this is why I go back to it being incredibly calculated, because he went scorched earth. What he basically said was, what happened to me in the summer was I wanted to leave in the summer, and I'm not saying there weren't offers on the table. There were probably interested parties at the table, and they probably said to him, look, if you're a free agent now, it'd be a lot easier to sign you, but you're not. You're not a free agent. There's a third party involved here. It's Manchester United. And again, this is why it's so calculated, is because when he went scorched earth in that interview, when you look at all of the decision makers, i.e. all of the tick points who would decide his future at Manchester United, he attacked all of them. So he attacked his teammates. Sure, He attacked his teammates. That would be an internal sort of in the dressing room. Do we want Ronaldo to stay? Do we not want to stay? If you were to have a vote, tick that one off. So that one was gone. He attacked the manager. Said he didn't respect the manager. Tick that one. Chupo, get the moting. Right. He then attacked then the sporting directors. So he attacked Richard Arnold and John Murtough. Said they wanted him out. And they also attacked the ownership, whether you like the ownership or not, which of course we don't. But every single pillar there of who would decide his future at Manchester United, he said, I don't like. So there was nobody going to be fighting his corner from the club's point of view as to, no, he should stay. And again, there's no coincidence in that, in my opinion. That's by design. No. So I think ultimately he'd have got what he wants. As to where he goes next, that's going to be absolutely fascinating. And I think actually this whole situation might have been sped up significantly because Portugal kick off their campaign Thursday in the World Cup. And now, and this was something I sort of pondered the other day of how is this going to affect them? He showed up in a press conference yesterday he wasn't even scheduled to be in. Yeah. And he showed up in that press conference. And the reason why he did it, and one of the things he said to him is, stop asking them questions about me when it comes to asking my international teammates, because it's starting to bleed over. It's starting to bleed over into that. And he's thinking, I wouldn't be surprised if he thought, actually, I didn't think it was going to get this amount of blowback, like international level. I thought this was going to be My
No,
safe
no,
space.
he's taking a piss. Again, everything was planned. This was part of the structure. This was part of the thing. He said to Piers, yo, how can I get out of my contract? Because it's not the first time him and Piers have spoken. It's been masterminded. It's done absolutely perfectly. He's got what he wanted. Again, for a person that was getting pushed out of the club, yeah, someone that's been pushed out and he didn't want to leave, yeah, all of a sudden he's out of the club. That's what he wanted.
Quick.
You know what I mean? Really simple. Again, so this, I'm happy that this is over. I think, but honestly, there's still things because the Glazers can't go amiss in this story, right? Because while there's someone that's disrespected the club, all those issues still remain. Yeah, in terms of we got to pull back, we've got poor facilities. There's real things that have been said, and the Glazers need to pull their finger out come January, because now I want fans to put expectation on the club to bring in some good players in January, because we've just lost someone. I don't know what you think we're going to do with just Martial and who we got up front now. Who's our
That's it. It's Ronaldo, Rashford, isn't it? And Rashford.
Just Martial. Yeah, and Martial's broken pretty much. So then we don't actually have a striker. So they better go into the market and get busy. Like, there's no excuses. There's no, oh, we don't know about this. We don't know. We've just taken a major wage off the like, we're not paying that guy no more. Off the books. So now we need to bring in talent. We need to bring in some quality. That's what we need to do.
Who do you think it is? Who do you think that person is?
If he wants Chupo, no, I'm playing.
Nah, allow it.
Get the moting.
It's really good. Just really something good quality. I know they talk about Gakpo. I think he's a good player, but just a true number 9. Let's do it.
Here's my thing, Take time says it here. This is a great moment for Ten Hag and the team. Now, during the stream, it's not just all going to be, oh, he's gone, the virus. We are going to take time to look at what it was, because I think it is important for that, because now this is like severing all ties from a Man United legend, right? But this is good for Ten Hag, I believe. This is good for the team, because ultimately, whether it was Ronaldo or a different player, but especially when it's a player who has as much impact as Ronaldo, it's a player who doesn't want to be here. What did we say at the beginning of the season? If you don't want to be part of this, there is the door. I don't care who you are. And Ten Hag made that very, very clear. He also said, I don't care what you've achieved in this game. It's what you prove now. And that's it, really. He chose to go a different way. Now, I don't even think time will tell whether it was a good decision to get rid of Ronaldo now or not. It got it got so bad that it doesn't matter. He had to go. It doesn't matter. And even before it got this toxic, the proof was in the pudding of when we was playing with him versus when we was playing without him. Like, argue with that. If you're a Ronaldo sympathizer, argue with the fact that you can see that we're more fluid without Ronaldo. Now, the things that he said about the club, are they all true in the facilities? Of course they are. These are things that Manchester United we've campaigned about, even when he was here the first time, when we was winning. That was an issue. So, yes, he's come back and he's shocked and surprised. We didn't get any revelations in his first season when he signed the 500 bag a week contract that, the coffee machine's still the same coffee machine from before. Oh, it's still Annie making the fry-ups. Like, not that they have fry-ups in there. He doesn't have it anyway.
And nothing wrong with Annie,
Nothing wrong. Big up Annie.
Yeah, he asked every day, Annie, you're okay. You're okay, Annie.
I wish I had my soundboard. That was brilliant, Owen. That was really good.
I feel like it was even too obvious for Owen's one. It was even too obvious for that.
I liked it, man. He said, Annie,
that was quick. It was quick. It was good. It was good.
I gotta go get my
door. It was good, but it was poor.
I gotta go get my door. This was an emergency live, but I'll get fined. I leave at the school.
Yeah, go and do it. Go and do it. Go and do your thing. This guy.
Hey, Ronaldo, I'm not burning through cash.
Yeah, wait, do we even have a 2 setup? Oh, yeah, we do.
Of course we do.
Of course we do. Pre-liable. That's just what it is for me. And I think he has tainted a little bit of his legacy, because obviously people remember the most recent thing, and that is this.
Well, how long for? How long do you think he has tainted his legacy for? Because I equate it to I think this is similar to the Roy Keane departure, and I feel like if that Roy Keane departure had been aired, because remember that was the interview on MUTV that never got aired, the infamous interview where, by all accounts, he did something very similar to what Ronaldo did. Criticize players,
called it all out,
teammates. Went scorched stuff, and I think it came from a different place from Roy Keane. It must be said. I don't think Roy Keane was trying to engineer an exit from the club. I think he was genuinely frustrated.
It was a completely different place. Exactly.
Yeah,
that was and in an era that Man United weren't too far away from being successful in that era.
Exactly. That was
like,
a season.
I'm not used to this. This is shit.
Yeah. For a couple of seasons, became like third, and that was an outrage.
Yeah.
What I mean? That's what it was like. But at the same time, we still consider Roy Keane a legend. But at the same time, I would also say Roy Keane achieved significantly more at Manchester United than Cristiano Ronaldo did. He was the captain-like figure. He won Premier League titles, a significant amount more than Cristiano Ronaldo. So I don't know if his entire legacy at United has been tainted, but certainly for the foreseeable future, I think when you reflect on Cristiano Ronaldo, when you ask, a Man United fan about Ronaldo, you think about, it's the recency effect that you think about how it ended as opposed to what happened throughout all of it. And it's ended in a very turbulent fashion. And to be honest, when you do take a step back, even when I was watching the interview earlier this week, was it whenever it was last week? You did watch it with almost an element of sadness because the whole situation is very sad. That it came to this.
It's the downfall. It's that, it's just, but it just, the thing is that it didn't need to come to it like this. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. I mean, you look at, obviously Messi's a little bit older than Ronaldo, right? And, I saw him play earlier on today, but
a bit younger.
And he, younger. And the thing is that you can't, with him, he's on like, hitting the pin, like the exit of his career, but there's just none of this that surrounds that or him. Like, do you know what I mean? And it is sad. And when I've been doing the stuff over in DR Sports talking about Ronaldo and Messi, and like, this is the end of a generation. This is it. Like, they're both at their last World Cups. They're both at the latter stages of their career, and they've both dominated our generation, right, for 15 plus years. Like, it is sad, and you wanna see these guys get the respect they deserve, and go out without kind of, I don't know, like just stuff going on. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't want them to have like scandal or eccentric stuff going on, or you just want them to just get the respect they deserve and let them go there where they want to go. And look, Ronaldo will get to go where he wants to go eventually, but just doing it in this way because we've got the club side attached to him, I just feel like it just shouldn't have happened like that. And this, I just think he struggled. If I look back on it, I just think as a player who absolutely struggled to deal with, he's not the same guy anymore, whether that's adapting his game, whether that's just merely just accepting that there's a manager who doesn't quite fancy you and wants to go in a different direction. He just could not deal with that. And Wayne Rooney said it perfectly the other day when he picked up that award. I thought it was a really classy response, but a little bit cheeky as well after Ronaldo went in on him saying that he looks better than him and he's still got a six-pack or whatever bullshit he was talking. He said, Cristiano's just frustrated because, he's basically just not that guy anymore. That's what it is. It's as simple as that.
So, and even his staunchest critics throughout his career would all accept that at the time they would say, but he's a magnificent player and one of the best players in the world at the moment. And that discussion about Ronaldo being the best player in the world at the moment is no longer factually accurate. He's one of the greatest players of all time. But if you were to say, he's the greatest player of in the world at the moment, that's not true anymore. You know what I mean? And that hurt, and that hurt, probably hurts him. And that hurts a lot of his fans. Look, I've come on these streams when I've been covering it. I'm sure you have recently as well, whereby when you talk about Ronaldo, and I'm sure this will be the case here, you get a lot of people that are very unhappy if you talk negatively about the GOAT, if you talk negatively about who they perceive to be the greatest player ever. But at the end of the day, this season, it's been both statistical and the eye test. Sometimes say you can't trust statistics, you have to trust your eyes. But It's been both. It's been both instances. When he's played, I think he started 4 games in the Premier League for Manchester United. In those 4 games, it's been out of the 5 lowest XGs that Manchester United have had in the Premier League. We are expected to score less goals when he plays. That's statistical. At the same time, when you watch Manchester United play, we don't make as many chances. It's like it's clear to see. And that's for a variety of reasons. That's also tactical too, because I still think if you had a side that funneled everything, the main focus of the side was to get Cristiano Ronaldo to score goals, he would still score goals because we did that last season and we scored goals. However, under this manager, in this tactical system, it's not about the individual, it's about the collective. And the issue is that Ronaldo isn't a player that's about the collective. Therefore, you get a player that's then being left out, and you get a player that's not being focused on, and you just get that. You get this clash. And because of that, this is a move that's best for all parties. It is, because look, Ronaldo's only got 3 years maybe left playing high level football or career football, and he wants to play. And he's earned the right to play, but he's also not earned the right to dictate when he plays, where he plays, especially if he's at Manchester United, because that's the manager's role.
Yeah, Thiessen says he mentioned Arsenal deserves to win the league. Could he end up there? That would be the biggest betrayal in football. Our rivals. I can't see a cat and else chance how he ends up at Arsenal. It would be that would be some. Mikel Arteta is far too wise and knowledgeable to bring in Cristiano Ronaldo to Arsenal. He's just fought tooth and nail to get Aubameyang out of that club.
Yeah,
a big personality, mold the squad together. Young characters, young players, new blood that wants to fight for a cause, and he's got the perfect team harmony. You bring Ronaldo into that. What happens by the summer? What happens when you tell Ronaldo you rather play Jesus up front than him? Or what happens when you put Jesus on the right and upset the balance and then put Ronaldo through the middle and he's not as fluid and doesn't impact the game as much as it just can't happen. It just can't happen. And if it did, I would be absolutely astounded. And I think Arsenal would be absolutely stupid to do that.
No,
all right,
I agree.
They might be able to laugh at Man United for doing that, but this is going to sound crazy. But that would be like Alexis going to when Sanchez come to Man United, it just have no impact. That's how crazy I think that would be.
Yeah, I mean they're on.
You probably score a couple of goals, but
they're on way too much of a role. And again, not that we play exactly but Eric Ten Hag ideally probably looks at like an Arsenal and goes, "We want to play a bit like them." So if he doesn't fit into the United system, he definitely wouldn't fit into the Arsenal system as well.
No.
Yeah, look, if there was one club in England that he would go to that would actually somewhat make sense, it's the club that maybe possibly kind of wanted him in the summer, and that might be Chelsea. And they're desperate.
Yeah, and it's a weird, and that's a weird one as well. That would be a really short-term thing because basically, just quickly, Marius says, I think Ronaldo will retire after this World Cup. I don't think there's any chance in hell that happens either, Marius. That would be a massive shock to the whole world if Ronaldo did this just to retire. But, you never know. Stranger things have happened. But the Chelsea one's a bit, it's like, well, anyone who gets Ronaldo now knows that obviously they can't build nothing with him. It's almost like they need to have a perfect team or build a whole team around this player. And it sounds crazy because he's a GOAT of the game. But it's like Chelsea are going through a massive rebuild under Graham Potter. Graham Potter likes to play a certain style. He likes to build a certain project. And Ronaldo, again, would just come and unhinge that because he comes with a lot of baggage, as we've just seen. He did it at Juventus. He's done it back at Man United where he loves the club, where he loves the fans. He's done it. So I don't.
And also as well, does Graham Potter? I mean, is a good coach, but that is a big character to manage. Would he even be able to manage that character?
Exactly. He didn't want to listen to Eric Ten Hag, who's done more in the game than Graham Potter,
Exactly.
And he didn't like him. Don't respect him. So why is he going to respect Graham Potter from Brighton? No offense.
Exactly. There's some other super chats I think we missed. One's from Ramadan says, I've lost all respect for CR7. It's as clear as a sky to see that he's a self-loathing footballer. Sign Ivan Toney and get on with it. M. Sati says, all parts are happy, including him. It's all okay. PS has been a member for 3 months. Appreciate 3 months of support. Says, major win for Eric Ten Hag in his first season. The team is truly his. He can now properly build the team in his image fully without CR7 in the background. They said the Arsenal bit. You mentioned the Ronaldo retire after the World Cup. Genome Degar says he obviously has had a terrible, no good year all round. Is not handling getting older well. He should get some therapy. Remember him as he was. And Maxwell says, really chuffed with the news. Now it's time to take a deep breath and go again in the summer. No rush signings. And to be honest, Flex, I'm sort of uncomfortable celebrating. You know what I mean? The news, because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, because I've seen some of the reactions like, finally and all that kind of stuff. And I don't think that's particularly right. I think it's, like I said, it's a shame how it's ended. It's the right decision for everyone involved. I do think the club sometimes it's not in vogue to praise Manchester United or praise the hierarchy. But I would say what is, I think they deserve some credit for is that this has been handled fairly quickly. The interview aired in its entirety last Thursday. We're less than a week removed from that, and he's gone. And it was announced the Friday, wasn't it, that Manchester United were initiating the steps. They were quite vague about what steps they were, but basically what they meant is we're initiating the steps to terminate his contract, and they've done it in a matter of days. And again, that is what is best for the club, and that's what's best for Erik ten Hag and his team and his players. And also as well, for a club that did not plan very well for the summer transfer window, they now have time to plan for January, because we're not even in December yet. So you would think now, if they know Ronaldo's gone, the shortlist should be drawn up and contact should be made and initiated. Man. Do you not think it's enough time? I think, it's enough time to get this done.
I do. But then this is where, and this is what KG said, and this is the bit about the Glazers where, look, obviously Ronaldo was correct about all those things he said about where the club was versus where it is when he came in. But it's now going back to them and relying on them to kind of make things happen. Also, the way that Erik ten Hag works, and I'm convinced of it, I don't think he rushes to get someone that isn't the right person. Like, if they really want a target that they really wanted in the summer and they're going to shell out big money, they won't. I don't think they'll shell out big money on someone who's just a stopgap. So the stopgap needs to fit in with the budget of them not spending too much, because we know about the Glazonomics of the situation. We know that they're not gonna go and spend or try to or be able to get, you know, Victor Osimhen for €90 million in this January. You just can't. It's got to be the stopgap, and sometimes that goes against you. But I suppose we're in such a bad position now, and we're so light in that area that you could say if it's cheap enough, which clearly you've got 500, like KG said, you've got 500k. Laters, bro. You got 500k off the wage bill till January, till the summer. That's a hell of a lot of money. That's a transfer fee and somebody's wages of somebody nowhere near that caliber. Yeah. Do you know? But I don't know. I just don't know. I just got a feeling that Ronaldo, that United won't do it. I just got a feeling. I hope I'm wrong, because you're right. We've got to get a striker. We have to.
I can't see. And again, don't get me wrong. We went through the summer transfer window, and we've been through transfer windows where you think there's no way they won't do it, and then they don't do it. But at the same time, Man United's season somewhat hinges on us getting a striker in. Because if I was Erik ten Hag, I would say to the board, look, you want me to finish top four? That we've got a real opportunity, because we do have a good opportunity to finish top four this season. But I'm telling you now, if Cristiano Ronaldo leaves and you don't give me a replacement, we've been light with Ronaldo, let alone without him. Okay, I've been in certain instances where I bet Erik ten Hag didn't even want to play Ronaldo. He had to play him because we were so light. So there's no way. I mean, D says there, Cody Hakpo, names like Hakpo, Ivan Toney, whereby, you know, and even Ivan Toney to an extent, we don't know. We don't really know what price Brentford really want for Ivan Toney. We don't. We just assume, they'd let him go in January, would they? Exactly. You know, they'd be shooting themselves in the foot. Yeah, they'd be shooting themselves in the foot when it comes to maybe their Premier League status. Cody Hakpo,
but also with what he's got going on, with the betting thing. You know,
exactly. Yeah, that's that might be a player that's banned for a period of time. We don't know.
Exactly.
When it comes to Cody Hakpo, we know that's a player that PSV have basically said we need to sell him in January because we didn't sell him in the summer, and we'd budgeted and planned to sell him in the summer. So he needs to go. So that is a possibility. Just when it comes to Ronaldo's contract and the termination, one of the questions I asked earlier was, I wonder if he does receive a penny from it. I wonder if he does receive any kind of money or financial compensation. Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail is reporting that Cristiano Ronaldo has not received a penny from Manchester United after the club terminated his contract. So the latest word is that, again, this is a mutual termination. Ronaldo is not getting paid out the remainder of his deal, which was to this summer with an option of an extra year. So he was reportedly due to earn £16 million. And this is when I went back to before, where I said I don't even think it's about the money. You know, when we were having those discussions before, when I think it might have been KG or someone said, Ronaldo will want to get that money. And Ronaldo's got the money. He doesn't care about the money. If it was about the money, he'd have gone to Saudi Arabia in the summer. It's never been about the money. You know, for him, it's about spotlight. It's about attention. It's about reverence. And that's the thing, like I said, that I thought was uncomfortable and sad and frankly bizarre about the interview he had with Piers Morgan is he was sitting across from a guy that was giving him this affirmation for 90 minutes of you're still the best player, still the great. I can't believe they're treating you this way. I can't believe they said these things about you. I can't believe this. I can't believe that. But ultimately, what did it come down to is he he had to get this affirmation from Piers Morgan, and that was it. And like I said, that's to me is quite sad, honestly.
It is, and the way that it was done, it was just so premeditated. It was so deliberate of making sure that outcome is what would happen. Do you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he's got what he wanted. Did Manchester United want him gone? I don't think they started off with that intention. I personally believe what happened in the summer was real, with the fact that he wasn't for sale. They wanted to keep him. Ten Hag did see him as part of his plans, albeit a supporting act, albeit a squad rotation. You can say that's disrespect, but that's a new manager, and that's his decision to decide how he wants this team to play. But at the end of the day, they stuck to their guns, and Ten Hag, all Ten Hag did, that's who I feel sorry for in this. Not by the end of it, because he's got, like, Ten Hag can move forward, but actually, I think Ronaldo threw Ten Hag under the bus. I think all Ten Hag did, and I know there's people going to say, well, you don't know what he said behind the scenes and all that. Well, I know what he said in public, and I know, that, he made him captain not long ago. He kind of said it was all about the team, even though Ronaldo was the only player who walked off the pitch. He was playing that day against Rayo Vallecano, sorry. Yeah. He condemned him quickly against, and then took him out the team against Chelsea after he did against Spurs, and then put him straight back in straight after he scores against Sharif. And it was, that's it. He just dealt with it. He dealt with whatever Ronaldo was putting down. And while he's had to be a new manager, we got Faz coming in here now, and Paulo as well. So we've got a group of 4. Owen, I think if you can we'll just make the graphic first, and then we'll bring both of them in. So, you've got it. There you go. So we'll put the 4th in there. Cool. It's proper loud where you are, Faz.
Yeah, that's really loud.
That's not going to last. Faz, I'll tell you what, quickly give us your thoughts on the Ronaldo thing, because we can't, that's too loud. There you go.
Oh, is my background too loud?
It's too loud. Yeah. Quick, tell us what you think about Ronaldo. Go for it. It's all yours.
Yeah, happy. Goodbye. Thank you. It didn't end the way we wanted it to end, but it is what it is. We'll take that. And you know what? W for Ten Hag. Win for all the fans. Hopefully, the club go and spend in January now. That's the most important thing. The most important thing is now come January transfer window, we go and get a striker and a fullback. So, yeah, I'm happy, man.
Do you think they will? Do you think they will? Do you think they will go and get a striker?
I don't think so. Not in January, because I kept saying it. I keep saying the same thing to everyone. You don't see a club this size going and spending 200 odd million when they're in Europa League, only to go and spend another 50, 60 million in January. It's never been done before. Whilst in Europa, we spent 200 odd. I don't think it's a good sign of business if we go in and overpaying for players in January. As much as we need to, as much as it's important, I don't think that will happen. Also, it's dividend months as well. Let's not forget. There's 16 million apparently in the kitty now. I don't actually know what's happening with the wages. So depending if it's paid or not paid, but we'll see what happens. I hope they get a striker, but I don't think they will.
Has he tarnished his legacy now for you as well, or do you
Absolutely
still see
not.
it?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. This is Cristiano Ronaldo. He's got more goals than people have got appearances. Ronaldo can never tarnish his legacy. You can never rub off history. You can only predict the future, but you can't rub off history. And Ronaldo, for me, will still be a Man United legend. Whether he's going to be a bigger legend than Rooney is a debate. For me, he's not. But Ronaldo's Ronaldo, man. You can never take away his history. And it's just, it's just happened on this year. So be it. It is what we move on. We move on.
Do you care? Do you care where he goes next?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, is it? So if he went Chelsea or Arsenal, would that hurt?
No, it's not about hurting, but it's interesting to see where a player like his caliber at that age goes and what does he achieve. That's what I want to see, because obviously he still thinks he's the main man, as we call him, the main man syndrome. Can he do something in a Champions League team if he goes in? What would be interesting though is which club he goes to, because so many clubs apparently denied him, and he said that was false. Bayern Munich's head of Bayern Munich came out and said they didn't want him. Apparently that was false. So it'd be interesting to see who he goes to, on what wages as well. Does he score? World Cup? Yeah. So I am interested, probably at least till summer anyways.
Yeah. All right, Faz, big up, man. It's proper loud where you are. Go and enjoy your Nando's, bro. I know you're about to go and get a half chicken, chips and rice. He's gone. Paulo, big up, bro. Let's just put it back onto the free. There you go. Put yourself into the middle of your box. There you go. Just adjust yourself. Yeah, I mean, look, Portuguese Paulo. You know what I'm saying? Portuguese legend Ronaldo leaves Manchester United, mutual agreement. Portuguese Paulo. What you saying?
To be fair, it's not really a surprise. Do you know what I mean? I think after that interview, it's just caused major negativity. But then again, behind the scenes, it was toxicity all over the place. So I think we can't really be surprised with the outcome. I think when we think about it, and when I look back at last season, we were never really in a position to get Ronaldo at his best, even at this age. You know, in this current moment, I don't think we ever were. We were, under Rolly, we weren't good enough. And I think right now, at this current moment, Ronaldo will only suit a team who are at the peak of their powers, and I don't think we are. Is he good enough anyway at his age? I think is a different debate. But look, we were never in a good position to get him in anyway, in my opinion. So yeah,
you just always saw it ending in tears, basically.
Yeah, I think last season it was all emotion, it was all vibes and memories of Ronaldo coming in, and we expected to see something that we saw 6, 7, 8 years ago. But I think end of last season, to me, it was just like, not even end of last season. I think halfway when Ralph was in, it was like, look, Ronaldo, yeah, he's performing in some games, but we forgot about that 8, 9, 10 game run where he didn't score. And then he scores against Chelsea and Arsenal. And we say, oh, look, what an amazing season it was. Look, Ronaldo's been poor this season, yeah. But I still think under Ten Hag, maybe, 6, 7, 8 years ago, he would have been good enough to stay in this team. Of course, I mean, he was in his prime. He would work. Yeah. But right now, he's at a time in his career where he needs to play in a team who's at the peak of their powers. Yeah, look, Man City would hurt for him to go there, but they're at the peak of their powers. You look at PSG, for example, maybe. And I know they got Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi, but he needs to be in a team who are going to supply him 3, 4, 5 clear-cut chances a game, where he will score 25, 30 goals a season. I think at this moment in time, in the process that Ten Hag is going, he's not going to suit this team, and that's it.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people seem to be feeling. We've got Cam. He's just joined the chat as well. Big up to Cam. Sorry, join the stream, not the chat. Cam, your green screen's doing a bit of a madness if you could just adjust it. But unless you want this little glow thing around you, like your ghost or
angelic. It's angelic Cam.
Angelic, yeah. But anyway, Cam, tactically, how do you break this down, mate? Ronaldo gone.
Ten Hag masterclass again. That's all you can say. I'm celebrating.
I didn't even know what was going on, mate.
Yeah, I mean, Ten Hag had no idea. The chef had no idea. I mean, tell you what, there are celebrations going on in that kitchen at Carrington right now. They are limbs in the kitchen. They are loving life right now.
Yeah.
Whatever the players come and eat tomorrow morning, breakfast is going to be beautiful tomorrow morning.
What, he's going to start putting out the Michelin star food again? Is that what you're saying?
Big time, big time. You would, wouldn't you? The guy's gone. He's violated you for no reason in an interview with Piers Morgan. You've had probably done nothing wrong, and I mean, you got to give credit to the chefs. Look what's happened this season. Look at Luke Shaw's diet now. He's slimmed down. The chef must be doing something right, and then he just gets dragged through the madness for no reason. So he's going to be happy right now.
I never knew Cam was on the union for the chefs. You know, like running so they get strikes and stuff to go to Cam. He sounds like he's on the chef union.
Exactly.
Chef union,
yeah.
But how are you feeling about it though, Cam? In terms of, did you see this was going to happen imminently? Are you pleased? Are you glad it's over? Is it a little bit sad? Like, do you care where he goes? How are you feeling?
The only thing I'm not 100% happy about is I'd rather they did it maybe 2 hours before Portugal kicked off in like a knockout game. I'd rather they waited for that moment, just cause a storm, and a little bit to get back at him. For
Cam is mad petty, you know.
Cam is He's got the interview after we've just, after a player who looks up to him, idolizes him by every account. He's dropped that after it's his day, and we've won a game that, let's be honest, Ronaldo was probably expecting us to lose or slip up in, which is why the timing was set for them. So why not just hit him back with it? I know, obviously, we should rise above that, but. No.
Yeah, I think it's that, Cam. I think Man United think, you know what, let's just move on and rise above it.
Don't fight fire with fire, but Cam says get a flamethrower out. Let's fight fire with fire. I mean,
but a lot of people agree with Cam in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, I think Paulo, you bring up a really good point when you mentioned that under Ralph last season, he was already getting those noises clearly from Ralph Rangnick that you're not really, I don't think you're the guy anymore. And that's not to say that Ralph Rangnick and Eric Ten Hag are similar like in their style of play or anything like that, but it's similar in the sense of, progressive style of play, that kind of thing. And in fairness, I guess maybe the writing was on the wall sort of midway through last season or late last season for him.
The signs were always there. And I think that long term, it was never going to work. And the only way he would have worked is if we were in a position where we were completely at the peak of our powers. And under Rolly, we finished second the season before. But let's be honest, we all knew we were missing a midfielder. And as soon as really that last few months of Oli, we said Wan-Bissaka's not good enough. We started saying all these players are not good enough. So as soon as we start saying that, we can agree that we don't have the team to supply for Ronaldo. But then again, if we want to play this style of football that Ten Hag needs, Ronaldo's not the man for that. So it is what it is. We got to move on, man.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I was
January,
about to say the same thing, Flex.
Because move on, it's like moving on, and it's like, okay, let's. In my opinion, I don't know what you guys think, and you're going to chat. I think you're always better off. You're basically a man down if you've got someone in there who doesn't want to be there anyway, regardless of how good they are. So I don't mind that. So let's look at the squad of where it is now without a body in Ronaldo. How vital is it that we get someone in January? I mean, is our top 4 hopes depending on that with where we are?
I would say so, yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. I think we're just going to be relying on Rashford and Martial now. Martial, who can barely stay fit, and Rashford, who for me is not good enough in the number 9 position. I think we can all agree, yes, we've seen spells of Rashford doing good things in the number 9 position at times, but for me, he's not a striker. Martial is unreliable. So what happens if, unfortunately, hopefully it doesn't happen, but let's say something happens to Rashford and Martial was out like he's always been out, who are we going to put up front? I mean,
it's a big problem, but in a weird way, Cam, like Ronaldo wasn't playing that much anyway. It's almost like we was mainly playing without him. I know and any appearance he would make would always be because Martial was injured, or there's a bit of illness to Sancho, so you can rejig it, or Rashford's got something, a little niggle, he needs a rest, or it was always kind of a bit part role. But you still need a player to be that bit part role. How important is it to go and get someone else in January?
Oh, we need it desperately, but it's brilliant to have Ronaldo gone now. To be honest, it's a circus that we didn't need. And let's be honest, the best thing you can say about pretty much any of the games he's played this season is he didn't make us worse today. That's pretty much the best we can say, because a lot of the times he did make us worse, did kill our attacks, ruin the sort of structure that Ten Hag's trying to create. So it's nice to have him out of the team, and even. I know Marcus Rashford's not the greatest ever in the number 9 position. No one's arguing that. Nobody's saying that.
Yeah.
But what he will give you is, at the very least, he will run in behind. He will make movements. He will stretch the defence. The defenders are at least worried about his pace in behind. Yeah. I think Ronaldo, for me, and probably I think most of the Premier League defenders would have seen the moment as well. It was against Southampton last season, I think. There was one particular sprint where Ronaldo had about a 5-yard head start, and the defender caught him up easily, got past him. And then for the next couple of minutes, Southampton had a goal kick in the end because the defender sort of shielded it out of play. From the goal kick, Ronaldo was just standing still, hands on hips, like breathing in. He was done for a couple of minutes after one sprint, which he wasn't even particularly fast at. That was the moment for me. He looked up after that and he realised he was done. He realised he was finished. And Premier League defenders seeing that are going to know, hang on, I can just get tight to him now. I'm not worried about him going in behind. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have, his knees don't work anymore. He's not going to be able to roll you. So what purpose does he actually serve? His finishing hasn't even been that good when he's had chances this season. He hasn't done anything. So whoever, I genuinely, as much as I would hate to see Choupo-Moting join United, he would still be an upgrade.
Whoa, hold on a second. What you said?
He's an upgrade on what Ronaldo's given us. I don't want him here. If that happens, it's a disgraceful transfer. It's an embarrassment, but it's still better than what Ronaldo's given us this season.
But Cam, we can't go down this road again of this could do a job, or this he'd be better than what we've got. We've got to have some standards. We've got to have standards.
No,
and
I agree.
And I feel like if you give the Glazers an inch, they take a mile. If you go, well, he's better than what we got, they go, what? Better than what we've got? Take him.
To be honest, anyone in the world rubbing their hands together at Ronaldo's interview, it's probably the Glazers, because $500K a week that just goes straight back into their accounts, doesn't it?
Well, speaking of rubbing their hands together as well, so Piers Morgan, of course, he's the person that interviewed Cristiano Ronaldo. He's quote tweeted Man United's statement and just said the end. Now, to me, not to beat a dead horse over this, if the intention wasn't to get this result, surely he would quote tweet that and be completely outraged and say, I can't believe they've done this. It's a disgrace, blah, blah, blah. No, he hasn't. He's just gone the end, which, to be honest, shows to me that you've played your hand there. You've got success, tick. That's what we both want.
And then he put up the Arsenal thing. You see that one? He's put up the picture of the Arsenal shirt.
Time for phase 2.
Yeah. You know what? Send him to Arsenal. Make him ruin their title challenge and then see what Piers Morgan's saying in the summer.
Well, that's what I was saying. Just before you came on, I was like, Arsenal would be, absolutely stupid to let him go. But look, for me, I'm less so what Cam's on. Cam's on the ultimate smoke for Ronaldo in terms of hold that you know, and I get why some people feel like that.
Yeah.
My he's on that.
He's now.
My thing is that I just think it just had to happen, and it had to happen quickly.
Yep.
And I'm glad it has. I am thinking back to something quite funny though, because this could prove everything, right?
Go on.
Ronaldo's last appearance was Sociedad away, wasn't it?
Believe it was.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, you're going to put yourself under the bus.
After that game,
it was Aston Villa. He played Aston Villa because he captained the side.
Oh, was that last game?
Good.
Yeah,
Right,
I know where you're going. Basically, in fact, you were trying to say that you.
So it's not me. It's not me.
There was a clip. There is a clip. We posted it all over our socials of Flex going, "Keep going, Ronnie. You know, keep going." And he gave Flex a thumbs up, and that could have literally been the metaphorical wave goodbye. But it wasn't. It wasn't. His last game. His last game. He was the last game he played for Manchester United. He was the captain, was he not?
Yeah, he was. It was that 3-1. Yeah, because then he went ill. He went ill in the Carabao Cup and then ill against Fulham, didn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And according to reports, he went ill after he was told, "Come Fulham on the Sunday.
Yeah,
you're going to be in the squad, but you're not going to play." And then he went, "I'm ill."
Yeah. So he weren't just ill for the first game as well. Something was up from even before that.
100%.
I just think Ten Hag just decided to just say it there and then after that happened. But I just look back on it on his time, right, and I'm trying to work out how I feel in terms of, because I think Faz was saying he absolutely hasn't tarnished his legacy and stuff like that. I think he chipped away a small bit of it. I will say that. I think once this recency kind of occasion has passed, where it's like 3 years ago, this will get less and less, and that actually might even grow back. Like, you know that,
Yeah.
like, but as of now, as of the 22nd of November at 9:40, well, it's 9:40 for me. Here in Qatar, I feel like that was strong because Mina's been getting on to me.
It was good. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah. Let make sure you lock clip that. Let Mina know.
Yeah.
I'm trying. But yeah, I think as of now, it's chipped away. But I feel like as the time goes on, it will be that second spell was shit, man. But you know what? He's still a legend. It will be all right. But it's so raw and it's so scathing what he did, and it's so deliberate what he did in that disgusting interview, in my opinion.
You know what's interesting
with Piers Morgan.
You know what's interesting as well is in the interview. I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but he talked about his lack of. I think he said lack of motivation or lack of. I think the motivation was the right word he used. And for me, that just shows exactly, and you can see it on the pitch. He's playing Europa League games. He was barely playing in the Premier League. We can talk about his mentality and all of that and how strong his mentality is and all that. But you think a player of that status would want to be playing in the Europa League. He doesn't. You could see it on the pitch. His motivation at times when he didn't want to run. It's no surprise that he was performing the way he was, in my opinion, this season. Because he's playing Europa League games and he's not starting in Premier League games. And really, you can talk, of course, look, that sensitive situation about his daughter and stuff like that. Of course, it's a bad situation, but I still believe, that he didn't want to be here. He didn't want to be here, but he probably thought, I'll come in, I'll see what happens. I still want to have a good season. But when he's not starting games in the Premier League and he's playing Europa League, something in his mind must have said, I can't be asked for this. And you can see it on the pitch. You can see it.
Agreed. A couple of super chats, by the way, Flex. Maxwell Smart says, really chuffed with the news. So now is the time to take a deep breath and go again in the summer. No rush signings. Kristen says, Ronaldo isn't the big news today. I proposed to my other half today. I'll give you guys an invite to the wedding. Well, congratulations, Kristen. There you go.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
And I'm sure the entire chat will send their congratulations as well. Tabaslow says, McTominay and Maguire are our new strikers. Glazes out. Shashank says, will it be plus 10 million on top of the United tax now for a striker? Basically saying if we are to go for a striker in January, our position is very transparent, isn't it? We need a striker. So there's the January tax, there's the United tax, and then there's the desperation tax on top of that. That's actually a good point I hadn't thought about. Cam, what do you reckon of that?
Well, if we go to approach Brentford for Ivan Toney, they've got the minus tax of pending betting suspension. So you never know. It might balance itself out. Maybe that's the one to go for. Saves the Glazers some money, gives us a good striker, very good replacement. But yeah, it doesn't matter what happens really. Whatever striker we get in is an upgrade. Cannot be any worse.
I think it's important as well. Yeah, no. I think it's important as well that Man United didn't get rid of Ronaldo. I actually do believe this is mutual. I think you can tell this is mutual because obviously Man United wanted him to go.
Is it even mutual? Did he do it himself? I think he did it himself.
That's what I mean. But once that happened, obviously you still need Man United to. Man United could just say, "Well, you're under contract. You're going in the reserves." Do you know what I mean? He made it so Man United had to do it, but the actual negotiations around it, I think, was really easy, which is why we've come to this quick solution. Because first of all, the talks was, Man United are seeking legal advice. Man United are planning on what to do with this. Man United are exploring, excuse the pun, like Owen said earlier, suing Ronaldo. But in the end, it's mutual agreement, part ways, thank you for your service is the message they've put out. That's the agreement they've come to. And also it's Ronaldo not digging his heels in and saying, I've done all this, but by the way, I'm not going to walk out of this club until you pay me X. He's quite happy to just rip it up because that's what he wanted. So it is. I think we have to be careful by saying because I think that makes Man United look bad. If you're kind of doing the whole thing of Man United got rid of him, let's not get it twisted. Man United were forced to come to the table to mutually agree to depart because Ronaldo was ready to walk away or make it or get out. So it wasn't Man United who were just sitting there and went, you know what, let's sack Ronaldo. Let's fire him. That's not what happened. What happened is he did a stupid interview which he knew would make the club have to want to part ways. Yeah. And he's already in a position where he's willing to do that so that when the club says, okay, you've dissed the manager, you've dissed the owners, you've dissed the young players, the only thing left you didn't diss is the fans. But other than that, clearly you want out and clearly you can't play for us anymore. What do we do? Ronaldo's like, well, as long as you're happy, I'll just drive out of Carrington. Is that all right? Is everything fine here? Cool. Don't even worry about the money. Don't worry about the expenses. Don't worry about anything. I'm off. Yeah. That's what happened.
But if he was happy to do that in the summer, it would have been gone by now. If he was happy to sort of take a pay cut and not keep collecting his wage from United and leave for free, then he would have been able to go. But the rumours were the club didn't particularly want to keep him against his will. It was just that he wanted all of his money. He wanted the rest of his contract paid up if he was going to leave. And the club were not happy to then send him to play for a different club and still be paying half of his massive wages. Because that's not really fair on United either. If you're paying that much for a player, even half of Ronaldo's wages is more than a lot of our players get paid. If you're paying that much for a player, you at least want something out of them. So if he just smartened up and realised he wasn't wanted in the summer, left for free, or dropped his demands or whatever, we wouldn't have been in this position now. So it's completely his own fault in every way, really.
Well, I think that's the part of it there.
I was going
to say, I think that's part of it when it comes to it, the demands part. I think even if it wasn't, I want to get what I'm due from Manchester United, I think it was, I want the same amount that I'm currently on at Manchester United at another club. And realistically, every other club that's a well-run club in comparison to Manchester United said, well, that's a terrible deal for us. You're 37 coming on to 38. Why would we give you 500k a week? Remember, that was a reduction because we didn't qualify for the Champions League. It was more than that. So, and I think most clubs with any sense went no, that's not worth it. And I think to Cam's point, I think he was quite steadfast in that. And now, after sitting on the bench for however many months it's been, it's like, okay, no, I'll go another route and I'll get my move. But where he goes now again and what his demands will be, because I don't, even with what's happened with him this season and even the performances he has put in, I don't think he can quote 500k per week to whatever club he goes to. I'm not sure he's in the position to anymore.
I think,
go on.
Yeah, so no, I was just going to say that I think what's going to have the biggest impact is this World Cup, because depending on what Portugal do in this World Cup, it will have an impact on what club he goes to. If he continues with bad form during the World Cup, it will just this interview will be remembered. His form will be remembered at Manchester United. But if he continues the World Cup and he starts scoring goals and, who knows, maybe Portugal get to a semis or a finals, who knows? We don't know what club he might go to. Maybe a club will want him and they might pay him that sort of money. Maybe not 500k, maybe 400k. But it will really depend on this World Cup. And that's it.
How do you feel, Paulo, as a Portuguese fan? You're about to enter into the World Cup, Ronaldo's last World Cup. Obviously, he's a legend to Portugal, as well as he's a legend to Man United and obviously Real Madrid. But as a Portuguese fan and a Man United fan, how do you feel?
It's
Like,
hard. It's
you know,
hard. It's like you want to defend him, but at the same time you can't. This has gotten toxic. And when you're in this position as a Man United fan and a Portugal fan, I want to see him do well regardless anyway. I do want to see, it's not all about Ronaldo. Yes, this is Ronaldo's last tournament. It's Messi's last tournament. I want to see them get to the final. I want to see them do well. This is all about, seeing the best players that you love and you grew up watching do well. But when it comes to this toxicity and this negativity around the club, you got to go. But for me, it doesn't change. I still want to see him do well for Portugal, but I want to see Portugal do well. Like we said, no player is big in the club at Manchester United, but he's not bigger than Portugal either. So yeah.
Yeah, for real. And lastly on that, do you think he can have an impact? Do you think now in typical Ronaldo fashion, like he does this, gets all the spotlight on him, leaves Man United and then goes and has a sick World Cup for Portugal and actually comes through clutch like he always has? Or do you think, like some people are saying, who are hating on him, saying he's finished, he's washed, he's done, like we will actually see that he's past it in this World Cup?
I think that, I have a feeling he's going to have a good performance in a World Cup, and it's a separate issue as well if we're saying that he's going to impact the way Portugal plays. Well. You know what I mean? Because Diogo Jota is not prepared for this World Cup because he's injured, like that, Owen, yeah? But either way, I still think that he's going to have a good World Cup. It's a difficult group as well. Ghana, Uruguay, and South Korea. It's not an easy group. But I think that, like I said before, if he has a bad World Cup, people will remember this. They'll say he was dead at Man United beginning of the season anyway. They'll say he was poor at Man United. Now he's finished and all of that. But I think if he has a good World Cup, like I said, I think big clubs might put big money for him. So this World Cup is going to be very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah,
it's true. It becomes a 2 or 3 week shop window for him, doesn't it? To sort of showcase his abilities. And finally, Paulo, on the Portugal thing as well. Do you think part of this has been sped up because he did that press conference yesterday, basically sort of saying, "Stop asking my Portuguese teammates about me." Yeah. Do you think that's played a part of it as well? Do you think there might be a case of him being worried now? Actually, this scrutiny starting to overshadow or actually hinder some of the preparations for Portugal.
Yeah, it's negativity, man. Like, I don't like seeing that either because I'm a Portugal fan. You know what I mean? I don't want to see that sort of negativity where you see people like Bruno and Delo being like, "Oh, this is the interview. I didn't like that, Christian. I didn't like that." Do you know what I mean? I don't want to see that sort of thing. So I don't want to see that impacting our performances because imagine we flop in the group stages. Everyone will be saying, "Oh, it's because of the interview. It's because of his form at Manchester United. It's because of all of that." And I don't want that to happen. I want to see Portugal do well.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. We have a fantastic squad. And I don't want that. I don't think so anyway. This is international football. This is business at the end of the day. We need to win trophies. We got to do what we got to do. And it shouldn't be like, "Listen, you haven't done that. Now, listen, I'm not going to perform just because you've done that." No, that's baby like that. It's immature. So, I hope it doesn't have that sort of effect. You're playing football and you're there to win.
Cam, how do you feel the rest of the team will respond to this? Do you think it'll be a massive weight off their shoulders and they might express themselves more and we might see the next development of what Ten Hag's trying to do without Ronaldo? Or do you think actually it might go the reverse where we're too light and we struggle?
No, I think it will work brilliantly. I think they'll all be really happy that he's gone. There were rumours and reports actually when he left the dressing. He went down tunnel early that the other players were celebrating the win over Spurs. Big win that was as well. And I didn't even notice that he'd gone, or barely noticed, or sort of maybe just saw it and just weren't bothered about it, which is great. So they don't really care that much. I think the weight off their shoulders will come from obviously not being asked about him in press conferences all the time, which is good. I wanted to ask Paulo though, if you're the Portuguese manager, would you start Ronaldo? Because there's a lot of attacking talent. Obviously, I'm probably not going to say it right, but Joao Felix as well. Yeah. Lots of other great options in the squad. Would you actually start Cristiano Ronaldo?
It's a difficult one because perhaps if you have Diogo Jota prepared for Portugal, you probably would have started him. And maybe you have Rafael Leão at left wing. Maybe you have Joao Felix on the right. He's a very versatile player, Joao Felix. So you can pretty much play him anywhere across the front three. Do we start him? He's going to start him because his name is Fernando Santos and he plays his favourites. Do you know what I mean? And I've watched Portugal for the last 6, 7, 8 years with this manager, and he relies on favourites. Don't get me wrong, Ronaldo can have an impact. He's a big time player, and I know he's been poor this season. It's such a difficult situation, but
it's international level here, man. Come on, you can't not start Ronaldo last week. You can't. With everything that's happened at Man United, that's fine.
With imagine Ten Hag. Yeah, Ten Hag doesn't start for his club. We've seen what happens if you think he, boycotts him in a World Cup tournament, his last one. Imagine the interview there. Who interviews him after that? Oh,
yeah. He starts every game for Portugal, barring injury, and he finishes every game for Portugal, barring injury.
100%.
And I agree. I think he will do all right. Yeah, go on before we wrap up. Go.
Yeah, a couple of super chats. Red Baron says, KG told you all last season. KG's the oracle. He always is right eventually. He always eventually becomes right.
Red Baron also says, luckily right. He just didn't mean it.
No,
like that.
What he does is he says stuff and it's wrong for ages. And then maybe in like 3 or 4 years' time, he accidentally gets it right and goes, I told you so. It's like, well, but during that period of time, he said the opposite thing about 10 times and go, no, but I said it that first time. That's what he does.
But then he still claims it. Yeah.
Exactly. Red Baron also says, thoughts on Piers, Cam?
I prefer not to speak.
Yeah. Okay. It's just Danny says, short-term pain for long-term gain. And also says, wait, United are acting fast with the eyes emoji. Yes, happened very quickly, certainly. Interview aired on Thursday and Tuesday. He's gone. Not even a week. 5 days it took to facilitate Ronaldo's departure.
Yes, and rightly so, because that had to happen. So there you have it, guys. Cristiano Ronaldo has left Manchester United by mutual consent. It had to happen. It was always going to happen. It sent shockwaves when it all came out. But you know what? Manchester United will live on. Manchester United will develop. Manchester United will improve without Cristiano Ronaldo. He's been a great servant to the club over his tenure in both times in terms of goals and contributing, especially in the first one. That can't be rubbed out. But he wanted out and he got his wish. And you know what? We got our wish of having players who want to be at Man United for the good and progress. So yeah, I'm actually late. This stopped me. I'm supposed to be. You guess where? I'm going to a concert, right, or like some event thing, right?
The thing.
Yeah, it's Jason Derulo. I'm going to see. There's an event here, a Budweiser event. So I'm going to see Jason Derulo riding solo. That's what I'm going to be going to do right now. Someone else is covering the France game. So yeah, big up to everyone who's been getting involved over in DR as well. Absolute scenes today with the Saudi Arabian fans. It was absolutely incredible. I know a lot of people are talking a lot of stuff about the World Cup and there's a lot of opinions out there, and I've seen on social media. I've tried to actually stay off it, to be fair, looking what's going on back at home. It's insane. And actually, because I'm actually being here and feeling the vibe and speaking to fans, it's like maybe I'm in a totally different world to what's going on the internet. Like back home, it's been crazy, but I can assure you guys I'm having an absolute blast out here. So yeah, we're out of here, guys. Smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Remember, Owen is doing so much content, and a lot of the other guys will be joining him. England match views, all the big nation match views, Manchester United news. It's a crazy time for the channel. And even if you don't normally watch when it's not Manchester United and it might be something to do with France, it might be something to do with the Netherlands, it might be something to do with Portugal now with the fallout of Ronaldo, just tune in. You might enjoy it. Just tune in because that's what's going to be happening throughout this whole World Cup, because all of club football stopped. There's nothing going on apart from this. But after this, yeah, we shall see what happens. So anyway, guys, we're out of here. Smash the like on the video. And Owen, actually, wait, are we going straight into that? I just forgot. Are you doing that later? No,
I mean, possibly. What do the fans want? What do the fans want? It depends.
Do you want Owen to do a live match view of Australia versus France? France versus Australia. I don't know if any of the lads want to join you. Maybe we could just stay live and turn it into that. I don't know. Start a new stream. I don't know. Let's get the votes in. See what you guys think. But we'll end the stream now. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. But anyway, we'll be back tomorrow with loads more content for you guys. We're out of here. Peace.